On the front steps, all getting ran through.
Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of Lyons Den. Today, we are going to do our MLB regular season preview. This is going to be a solo podcast because I'm just going to be running through my predictions, little offseason recap for each team, and at the end, I'll give you my, in general, MLB predictions with awards and champions and stuff like that. So, we're going to start with the AL first. The AL East in fifth place, I have the Rays. I think they're going to finish last. They didn't really add that much in the offseason. They did add Ha-Seong Kim and Danny Jansen, but they also lost Jose Siri and Jeffrey Springs. And they're just a mediocre team at best. They don't really spend money. They don't really have a stadium for this year. I don't see them finishing very far. At fourth, we had the Red Sox. They had a great offseason. I will admit they had Alex Bregman. They added Aroldis Chapman, Garrett Crochet, Walker Buehler. They really beefed up their pitching. But they lost Tyler O'Neill and Danny Jansen, which are minor losses, but still. I just think the Red Sox, they don't really have, I don't know. I don't really see them being better than any of the three teams above. So, third, I have the Blue Jays. They added Anthony Santander, Jeff Hoffman, and Andres Jimenez, who I'm a big fan of because I think he's a great player. But they did lose Jordan Romano, who did not have a great season last year, but was coming off sub-3 ERA seasons for his past 3 years before that. So, I think the Blue Jays will be a good team this year, and I think they will be heavy buyers at the deadline due to their past free agency interest in Soto and Ohtani and stuff like that. At second place, I have the Yankees. They added Devin Williams, Cody Bellinger, Max Fried, and Paul Goldschmidt, but they did lose Juan Soto, Gleyber Torres, Nestor Cortez, and Clay Holmes. I mean, the last three players listed aren't really big losses, but Juan Soto is probably the second best player in the league. That's going to be a big loss, but they did make up for it a little bit. They beefed up. They added another great starting pitcher, Max Fried. We did just get news that Garrett Cole is considering surgery. That would not be good for them, which would leave their rotation definitely weak at the back end of it. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. That's why I have them at second because of that uncertainty. Because at first, I have the Orioles. They added Tyler O'Neill and Charlie Morton. They lost Corbin Burns and Anthony Santander, which, don't get me wrong, those are two big losses. But the youth of this team is so good. Their farm system is so good. They're going to be so good for years to come. AL Central, fifth place. I have the White Sox, probably the worst team in sports right now. Doesn't really matter who they added. They added Michael A. Taylor, and they lost Garrett Crochet. So they're terrible. At fourth, we have the Twins, just an average team. They added Harrison Bader and Ty France. Ty France has not been playing good in these past couple of years, but they lost Carlos Santana and Max Kepler to the Phillies. Third, I have the Tigers, who are trying to build a good team after their playoff run last year. They added Jack Flaherty, who they traded at the deadline, Gleyber Torres, and Alex Cobb. They lost Andrew Chafin and Shelby Miller, two minor losses, which won't really hurt them that much. Second, I have the Guardians. They added Carlos Santana, Slade Choney, and Paul Sewald, but they lost Andres Jimenez, Josh Naylor, and Eli Morgan, which kind of, they lost some good field players there, so that's why I dropped them down to 2. And at first, I have the Kansas City Royals. Bobby Witt Jr. is a stud. He's second for my AL MVP candidates. And the key additions for the Royals, I got Jonathan India and Carlos Estevez. Decent, and key losses Brady Singer, Adam Frazier. They won't hurt them too much. The Royals are just a young team. They got a couple great pitchers, and yeah, they'll be exciting. The AL West in fifth, I actually have the Angels, not the Athletics. Really, Mike Trout's their only notable player now, and Mike Trout, you can't even rely on him to play 60 games in a season. They added Yusei Kikuchi, which is a good add, I won't lie. Kenley Jansen, perennial closer for a long time, and Jorge Soler. They didn't really lose that much, but I just don't see them going that far. Fourth, I have the Athletics. I'm actually moving them up. I thought they were promising last year. Lawrence Butler is a great young player for them. They had their biggest signing in franchise history with Luis Severino. That'll be interesting to see. They also added Jeffrey Springs and Gio Urshela. Third, I have the Mariners. Did not do much this season. That's why I kept them at 3. Added Donovan Solano. They lost Josh Rojas and Justin Turner. Second, I have the Astros. Again, they lost a lot this season, but they still have so much talent. I'm going to keep them at 2. They lost Alex Bregman, Kyle Tucker, Justin Verlander, Ryan Presley, and Yusei Kikuchi. They did add Christian Walker and Isaac Paredes, but come on. I mean, Kyle Tucker is amazing. They lost him. Justin Verlander is obviously still kind of got it. Alex Bregman, great player. They lost all of those. First, I got the 2023 World Series champions, the Texas Rangers. They added Jock Peterson, Jake Berger, and Kyle Higashioka. They lost Nate Lowe, Max Scherzer, Kirby Yates, and Jose Leclerc, but in a relatively weaker West Division, I don't see that hurting that much. Let's move on to the NL East. In fifth place, I have the Marlins. Their offseason was very boring. Their only major ad was Cal Quantrill. It was not really a major ad. They lost Jake Berger and traded Jesus Luzardo to the Phillies. They're a terrible team, I'll be honest. At fourth, we have the Nationals. They added Nate Lowe, Mike Soroka, Josh Bell, a couple other decent players. The only loss was Patrick Corbin, so they're going to be very good in 3 to 4 years. With Dylan Cruz, James Wood, they got a great farm system. They'll be good. Third, we have. I'm actually going to put the Mets at third. I'm sorry. They had a great offseason. I won't lie. Juan Soto, Clay Holmes, A.J. Minter, Jose Siri, Frankie Montas. They lost Harrison Bader, Luis Severino, and Jose Iglesias. Look, if they played the Phillies right now in a playoff series, I'm not saying the Phillies would win, but I'm saying in the regular season, I feel like the Phillies pitching staff is what's going to take them over the top against the Mets, which we do have at second, the Phillies. We added Max Kepler, Jordan Romano, Jesus Luzardo. Max Kepler and Romano both to 1 year deals. Luzardo in a trade. Look, I think our pitching staff can go up against anyone in the MLB, besides the Dodgers. But I just don't know why Dave Dombrowski didn't really go big in free agency after what we did last year, how we fell short in the playoffs. I don't really get his philosophy. We lost Jeff Hoffman and Carlos Estevez, so our bullpen is relatively weaker from last season, so we'll see how that goes. And at first, I still have the Braves. I'm sorry. They added Jerickson Profar, Brian De La Cruz. They did lose Minter, Max Fried, Charlie Morton, and Jorge Soler, but it's the Braves. They're so well-rounded in every category. Their starting pitching will be weaker, so I will be interested to see how that goes, but again, they're a great team. Moving on to the NL Central. And fifth, I have the Pirates. They just don't do much in the offseason at all to really improve their team. They added Andrew Heaney, Tommy Pham, and Adam Frazier, 3 weak ads, and they lost Luis Ortiz and Aroldis Chapman. So, yeah, I don't really have any hope for them this season. Cardinals, fourth, I have the Cardinals, actually. Did not do anything this offseason. They lost Goldschmidt, lost Lance Lynn, lost Kyle Gibson. They're just a boring team. They were great 3 years ago, so we'll see how that goes. The third, we have the Reds. They did have a good offseason. They added Brady Singer, Austin Hayes, Gavin Lux, and Jose Trevino. They did lose Jonathan India and Ty France, but Reds had a good offseason. Second, we have the Brewers. Again, lost more than they gained, but they still have that good core where I could see them sneaking into a wild card spot. They add Nestor Cortez and Jose Quintana, 2 lefty starters, decent. And they lost Willie Adames, Devin Williams, their closer, Colin Ray, and Frankie Montas. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. First, I have the Cubs. They had a great offseason, in my opinion. They added Kyle Tucker, who can be their face of their franchise. Matthew Boyd, Ryan Presley, great closer. Justin Turner, who is getting older but could still rake. They lost Cody Bellinger to the Yankees, and Isaac Paredes, who they traded for at the deadline, and Kyle Hendricks. So, yeah, I have hope for the Cubs this year. First, we are in the West. Sorry, last one. Fifth place, we have the Rockies. Very, very irrelevant franchise. They added Jacob Stallings and Tyro Estrada. Tyro Estrada is a decent player. Jacob Stallings kind of sucks, but they lost Charlie Blackmon, Cal Quantrill, and Brendan Rodgers. So, yeah, just an irrelevant team. Fourth, the Giants. They added Willie Adames and Justin Verlander. It's decent, but they lost Blake Snell, Michael Conforto, and Taylor Rogers. So Blake Snell, he obviously started heating up at the end of the season, so that's going to be a big loss for them. Third, we have the Padres. Added Nick Pivetta, Jason Hayward. That's not really exciting. If I'm a Padres fan, I'm not excited about those 2 ads. Those guys are kind of getting older, and I don't know. Because they did lose Jerickson Profar, Ha-Seong Kim, and Tanner Scott, who were three of their most important players last year. So that's going to be big for them to recover for that. Number 2, I had the Diamondbacks. They added Corbin Burns, who is a top 5 starting pitcher in baseball. Their rotation now is going to be nasty. They also added Josh Naylor, who had a great season last year. They lost Christian Walker and Jock Peterson, though. Two of their hitters that are going to hurt them. But, the rotation is amazing, in my opinion. First place, we have the Dodgers. This team is the most like unfair team I've seen in baseball in my lifetime. They added Roki Sasaki, who is going to be a top 5 pitcher immediately when he enters the league, in my opinion. They added Blake Snell, a top 15 starting pitcher. Tanner Scott, top 7 closer in the league. Hae-Sung Kim, it'll be interesting. He's a Japanese player. He's an infielder, so it'll be interesting to see how they use him. He's going to be a rookie. Kirby Yates, another great reliever, and Michael Conforto. They only lost Walker Buehler and Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty is more of a loss for them than Walker Buehler, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right, my award and champion predictions. NL MVP, I got Juan Soto. Yeah, he's already a top 3 player in the league, in my opinion, and now that he's going to be a star of the show, it's going to be good. AL MVP, I got Bobby Witt Jr. He's just electric. He's electric. NL Cy Young, I got Zach Wheeler. He's, in my opinion, his best starting pitcher in baseball. AL Cy Young, I have Tariq Skubal. Shout out Jupo for that one. He brought the idea up, and I was like, you know what, you're right, he's nasty. AL Rookie of the Year, I got Jackson Jobe, another Tigers pitcher. He just showed promise last year, and I believe in him. And now Rookie of the Year, I'm going to go Roki Sasaki, pitcher for the Dodgers. He's entering as a prospect, so even though he shouldn't be. NL Champion, I got the Dodgers. AL Champion, I got the Orioles. We got talent versus young talent, and talent's going to beat that every time. MLB Champion, I got the Dodgers this year. So thank you guys for listening to this MLB regular season preview podcast. We will be back next week with Jupo for a March Madness prediction and bracket. So there you go. Thank you guys for listening, and have a good day.